Hello and good evening to you all. Welcome back to my channel. Camille DeVille here. Thank you so much for hanging out. Today we're going to be going over a case that is near and dear to my heart. I heard about it 2 years ago and I can't get it off my head. If you have tried to do any Summer Wells research, she's a missing child, then you know the rabbit holes and you can get down them. My point of this video is to put it all into one place where you can find all the major facts, and then should you want to go on that deep dive, you can. Let's get into it. As I previously stated, I love doing solved cases, and I probably will keep mainly to that for this channel. However, this story needs to get out there. When I go on the internet, it's everywhere, especially in that part of the country. However, I ask any friend here in Las Vegas, Nevada, in California with some other family and friends, and they're like, who? What? No. So we're fixing that today. Check out my video. Little disclaimer here, I am not a professional investigator. No. I'm just like y'all, true crime fan, and I did my own research on Google, fellow YouTubers, and what they've researched, as well as the TBI website. So all factual. However, especially in a case like this, I don't claim to know anything, just what's out there, and then I'll share my opinion throughout. So Summer Moon Utah Wells, Summer Wells, went missing at only the age of 5 from her rural Tennessee home down on Ben Hill Road, middle of freaking nowhere, at around 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. on January 15th, 2021. According to her mother, Candace Wells, Summer had spent the day with her and her grandmother, also named Candace, but for the sake of our video, so we don't make it confusing, we have Candace, Summer's mother, and then Grandma, which is the older Candace. So Candace says that they spent the day together. And then after they got home, they started planting flowers next to their homestead or nearby Grandma's trailer. Now, you'll see in this picture here, the home is very close to the trailer camper that Grandma stayed in. So they do their flowers. Then Summer asks Grandma, can I come in, get some candy? She does that. Then she asks her mother, can I go inside and play with the boys? She was the youngest sibling living in the home of 4. So she had 3 brothers living with her. One was 12 years old, another was 9, and another one 7 at the time. Candace would state to police that she did walk Summer to the house, hollered with the boys like, hey, your sister's coming in, watch out for her. And she was just gonna go play. A lot of parts of this story, you're gonna have differing details. Devil's advocate, that could just be you don't remember exactly because you never anticipated this moment to be so life-changing, but also it makes people raise an eyebrow, that's for sure. So we have Candace claiming that she walked Summer to the house all the way and tells the brothers, watch over your little sister. And then you have Candace another time saying she walked her about halfway. It's not that big of a difference like you saw in the photo, if she did walk all the way and hollered from the doorstep or if she actually made the holler from halfway point. But which is it? Did you see the boys? Did you actually communicate with them and hear them say, yes, we're gonna watch her? We don't know, but that's the story. So out spend the day with Grandma and Mom, get home, plant the flowers, get the candies. Now Summer wants to go inside with her brothers. And
essentially where the boys were sitting, they were sitting right there at that table, looking at that TV, playing video games. Summer went down into the basement. She's pointing to this, table here that has basically a crawl space into it. And down into that crawl space goes down into the parents' and Summer's room. So I asked her if she would take me down there. She did. And so we crawl through there.
So
now,
can I stop you real quick, Chris? Because so this is the only way to get to Summer's and the parents' room is through this crawl space.
Right.
So Candace claims it only took 2 to 3 minutes to help her mother in her camper trailer with a knee brace, like bandage type thing. And then she goes in, asks the boys, where's Summer? They say she's down in the basement playing. Okay. As you'll see here, the basement is actually a shared bedroom with Candace, her husband, which is also Summer's father, Don, we'll get to him in just a second, and then Summer's stuff in her little bed area is in another part of the basement, so it's basement room.
Belonged to Summer. There was a mattress on the floor, the 2 bunk beds. The windows are secured with reflective type of materials, and so you can tell this is, it's pretty striking.
So she goes calling for Summer, and Summer doesn't answer. She goes down to the basement, and there's no Summer. She doesn't see Summer ever again. Oy. So she calls Don, her husband. I can't find Summer. I'm sure freaking that frick out. And he's like, okay, call the police. He calls the police. He starts heading home. He's at work according to their story. And as police are arriving, Candace is driving around and she's looking for her baby girl and her property. That same night, police would put out an Amber Alert for missing Summer Wells. I say finally because the second that you think you've lost your child, if you've ever been in this position, you've been in the store and they got under those little clothing racks and whatnot, or took another aisle and you just turned your head for a second, the second that you think your child's missing is the scariest moment of your life. So I say finally, they put out this Amber Alert here, and they start asking the public to be on the lookout for this little girl. Dawn and Candace Wells took straight to social media, getting their daughter's story, her image out there, as well as being interviewed by a lot of media sources. It would be said later that they denied media interviews and such, but they're still posting on YouTube and whatnot, so some people thought that was suspicious, but I will say, at least for the very beginning part, they were on it, posting, getting interviewed, telling their story, getting her story out there, her face out there, showing up at vigils, and that kind of thing. Police did note and stand by this that there is no evidence that there was an abduction, and also no evidence that there's foul play. So the parents seem adamant straight away that they knew and believed in their hearts that their daughter was taken. Another differing story I want to get into here, and it's very obvious from the first pictures you see, you have little Summer Wells, typically a 5-year-old girl, wants their hair as long as they can and pretty and pigtails, whatever, and to each their own. I love when parents allow their child, no matter their age or what have you, to just express themselves. You want to wear a dress, you want to wear a tuxedo, you want to wear a tutu out to the store, and if you want to cut your hair, let's do it. If you want to clip it in an extension, let's do it. But it does look a little odd. And I'm not the only one who thought that. Definitely caught my eye. I'm sure you're thinking the same thing already. Why is this little girl's hair dang near bald? In the same interview, you have Candace saying Summer wanted her hair like this, that she wanted it cropped short like her mother and her siblings. Okay, maybe. Weird. Maybe, definitely. Okay, so a couple seconds later, same interview, her dad says, well, Summer, she cut her hair a little bit here and whatever, and so she didn't feel bad. We shaved her whole head, and then mom did it as well to support little Summer. Which is it? That's kind of a big difference. I want to look like you guys. Summer just being a kid cutting up her hair a little bit, trying to give her some bangs or a little A-line. And then next thing you know, now her mom's supporting it and she cuts her hair. It's the inconsistencies for me, baby. Is that, okay?
Tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys.
And she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her.
Now that you've seen that clip, and you can go on YouTube and look up Candace and Dawn interviews all you want, but it kind of gives you a sense of the people, the parents. And now you've seen some pictures and stuff from their home. I hate to sound prejudiced, and I don't want anyone else to, so couple things. One, their delivery is questionable. They don't seem like they've had the easiest life and they got their heads super straight on. Is that the way you say it? Anyhow, like I said, I don't want to put prejudice out there. I know that is me being like, oh, you look like this and you talk like that, so maybe, but that doesn't make you responsible for some crazy stuff that happened to your child. It's just a little off-putting when you put all the pieces together. You understand? Go look at more interviews of them, feel free. I'm just giving you guys a little taste and trying to show the inconsistencies that, like I said, I think most of us are the most concerned with. Why don't things make sense? Why are timelines not making sense? Why is something as simple as a big deal like a little girl getting her hair cut short, we've got different stories? And as we all know, in a missing children's case, the first people they look at was the immediate people they're around, definitely their parents, babysitters, siblings, whoever's close involved. And that's just how it is. Because based on statistics, it usually is someone they know. And who do they know better than their own parents? So yes, the parents are the first initial suspects, but police did and continue to investigate this case. I'm attaching here, John takes us from the top of the hill. This is pretty close to their home. And then down, and this video is showing where the police dogs, he says, sniffed down and got Summer's scent. And that is true, you can find it. They did catch her scent. However, they stopped at the gravel road. It's a one-way in, one-way out road, Ben Hill Road. Why did her scent just stop there? I also heard that police dogs, as wonderful as they are and helpful as they've been in so many cases, when there's a difference in the ground, so we're going from trees, dirt, sticks, what have you, you get to the gravel, it doesn't necessarily mean that her scent just stopped there, but it can be tricky on the dog's noses from this to that, as if you were going from cement to grass and then it kind of fritzes out, okay? But that is where her scent was picked up and it stopped right there at that road. Since we're on the topic of a road and it is possible that Summer was abducted, there was a report from a neighbor. Now, they weren't sure if it was the day that Summer was abducted that they saw this truck or the day prior, but there was a red or maroon truck, a 1998 to 2000 Toyota Tacoma, and it had a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the bed of the truck. So they had seen that, and police have asked, we don't think you're a suspect, but if you could come forward, maybe you're an eyewitness, let us know what you know, or at least let us mark that off that has nothing. Both of Summer's parents would be taking a couple lie detector tests given to them by the police, and they both passed. I don't think that that's an easy thing to pass unless you are telling the truth, so that makes me happy. I don't really take them as the type of people that could do all this research and prepare to pass some crazy test. I know that they can't always use them in court or don't use them anymore in court because it's not 100% accurate. However, both of them pass, so that is something to be considered. Another thing to consider when you're thinking about the parents is that body language experts have looked over them for hours on end, right? With all their interviews, even on my favorite, Dr. Phil, woo woo, he's on his last season. But I just go on YouTube and watch his old stuff and I'm happy as a lark, so I'm gonna keep doing that. Anyhow, they were on his show and he had two of the most prestigious lie detector body language experts, come on, analyze them, and they did think that they were telling the truth. The only thing that seemed real suspicious was that Candace got way overwhelmingly, uncharacteristically upset when they mentioned the cornbread mafia. If that was my missing kid and somebody brought up, do you think it has anything to do with the cornbread mafia? I would be like, what the frick is that? Maybe, what is it? So since I didn't know and it wasn't described in anything I'd seen so far, the cornbread mafia is the domestic group of the largest reproduction organized crime syndicate in the South, running from Tennessee, where they lived, to Georgia, meth and trafficking also being a portion of this organization. Both parents seem to have criminal and drug history, past, what have you. Some more recent than others. We'll hear about that more in this video. You can kind of tell, okay, just by talking to them, watching them talk. But Candace, you never heard of the biggest organization that's scary as heck, running around, meth, weed, and you never heard of it? And why did you get so upset? I don't buy it. Oh, her answer was, oh, because I never heard that. It just sounds scary. I don't mean no disrespect, but like, what? You never heard of it? What the heck are you scared about then? Ask a question, figure out what the heck it is. Okay? Because it's looking suspicious. It's looking like, we'll get there. Let me also tell you, in all of this freaking sadness, their 3 boys that were living with them were taken by CPS or DPS and put in protective care. Sounds like with a really nice family. Don at first says that he's relieved. He's happy because with all the attention on the summer thing, and obviously their child just up and went missing, he felt like this was safest, that the boys were away. And that makes sense. But to this day, now this is June 15th, 2021, when little Summer went missing. Today is well into 2023, and they haven't been returned. So you got to wonder why. The parents are technically still suspects or potential, you know. Dawn has gone to jail, and then their home has not been built back to the standards that CPS wants it to be, like certain walls and things like that in place. Maybe I heard something about maybe not enough food in the house. I don't know. All the kids look healthy to me, but the point is your children should not be out of your care for that long. So another red flag, big question mark. You got to feel worse for the parents or more suspicious. Is one or the other. And why do I always feel both? I don't know where to feel. Now, Don gets a little mouthy sometimes. He'll be getting mouthy with people that interview him, getting mouthy on his social media. Candace looks, at the very least, overly medicated. Okay? Maybe some other stuff, but something's going on with her and has been. That doesn't look good. But on the same note, it doesn't make them guilty, like I said earlier, of being capable or having anything to do with this missing child horrific thing. It's hard because I don't actually know what to say because I don't know what happened to her. We don't know. But it definitely does not help their case that all of that goes on. Another thing that makes people suspicious of the parents is that Summer was taken while it was still light outside, right off their property within a couple minutes. So if that timeline is accurate, how? How does she just up and vanish and no one heard anything? And if it was a planned abduction, we go back to it's probably someone they knew. They claim they didn't have any beef with anyone, but maybe that happens even to the best of us. But were they involved in something and maybe someone they knew took her, that knew their property? I also want to add that they did have people that were very helpful, had men living on and off, not at that current time, in their sheds and whatnot. Kind of sounds like they helped them get back on their feet. Here's a place to crash for a few days, whatever. So they would have people in that circle of people they knew that would know basic routine times, you know, the layout of their property, that Summer existed and was this little girl living here with them, you know, their daughter. So I'm not ruling that out. I think that's a possibility. I know that the police have investigated as far out as they possibly could. I don't know if they have a record of everyone that ever just stayed with them for a little bit and if they've been able to question them and see what their stuff is like, but that's something that definitely plays in my mind. And then we've got, you know, Summer's 5. She lives on a fun rural property. She has her favorite swing outside. A couple other things. There's like videos of her just like playing around with some old fridge in the yard. So did she walk out the basement door? I think maybe, but it's, you know, the parents say, oh no, nope. Summer would not just go off on her own. She was always one to ask, just like we said in the beginning of the video, to go inside with her brothers. And then, you know, mom walks her a certain distance. And her mom says that she's herself, the mom, is scared of like the bears and the snakes out there. She doesn't go walking and running out there. And so Summer knew this and would not do this by herself and just up and leave the basement. I think it's very possible But here's where I fall on that. And I decide, no, it's not. If Summer went off on her own, she would have returned. Or she would have got lost pretty quickly and they would have found her during their searches of the property. More likely, in that case, she would have been injured. There's a creek right over there, you know, the hill, the treacherous, So they would have found her. Her injured little body, hopefully, you know, capable of being repaired. But then it makes me just cross it off the list because she would have been freaking found quickly. Now, the start of the day, before Summer even gets home, before she's ever goes to the basement, before she's ever reported missing, also is really talked about quite a bit. And here's why. Candace seemed to leave out a lot of their day. Her account of the day essentially starts with Summer, her grandma, and herself take the car and they go to grandma's hospital doctor appointment for a knee shot thingamajigger. So they go and do that. And then she says they get in contact with Hunter, which is a 15-year-old family friend. She had previously been best friends with his mother and really close to the family, but they, for whatever reason, multiple reasons, were estranged over time. But she was still cool with him. And then they take him to go to the swimming hole nearby, and grandma's back with them at that point. Have some fun. Candace takes some video. I think she put it on TikTok of Summer just splashing in the water for a little bit. They're not there for long, and then they leave, drop off Hunter. Another big part of this is going to be the video and still photos, it seems, from the drive from Hunter's or wherever they were in town, 25 minutes, 25 miles from their home, back to their house before Summer goes missing. So it would be alleged these are the last living videos, photos that anyone has of Summer that we know of. We are going to go over that video in just a moment. I'm going to also link the YouTuber who analyzes these videos. There might be others, but I really liked how he analyzes them. I think he really looks at everything. Very smart, very tech savvy. And if you have the time and you're very curious about that portion of the story, I really recommend that you click on his channel and go find out some more. Skip around, see what parts, you know, are relevant to what you're curious about. But I found it very interesting, and I did sit through a couple of his videos and I was like, dang, I didn't realize that. The other video we're going to be referencing here is an interview done by The Interview Room, linked below as well, where Hunter is interviewed about a year after Summer had gone missing. And it's interesting to hear his take of the day because there's a lot more detail in his take. He's not 100% the whole time. He says something and then it gets blurry too. But we got to consider he was 15 at the time of this incident. And it's like a freaking year later. So I don't know what his story was immediately after, but I am going to say the discrepancies between one little part and another don't seem that big of a deal enough to me to look at him any type of way other than just consider his storyline is a little different from Candace's. Hunter also felt like a big brother to Summer. He said he wanted to be like the brother that she should be looking up to and all that. And him and Candace, just family friends, so nothing weird across the board. I just want to state that. To make this as easy to follow as possible, it's going to pop up on the screen here for you, a list, the timeline that Hunter gave The Interview Room. And you'll have me in the background kind of going over the bullet points. So according to Hunter, Candace goes to town to take her mother to the medical center for an appointment to address her injured knee. Because Candace had previously been best friends with Hunter's mom, she calls him and lets him know that she's in town. Hunter suggests that Candace and Summer come over and wait with him while Grandma's at her doctor. Candace and Summer arrive at Hunter's family house. At this point, Summer is still active and lively. She's acting normal. They all decide to go fishing nearby. And Hunter says that Candace has Summer change her clothes or helps her change her clothes into a bathing suit. So after getting permission from Hunter's mother, they set off for their day. At this point, they get word that Grandma's actually done at the doctor's. They go pick her up. After picking her up, they go drop off her prescription at Walgreens drive-thru. All of them are in the car, all four of them, Summer, Hunter, Candace, Grandma. Okay, and then during this time, Hunter says that Don Wells calls Candace, so the father, the husband, and he said that the call did not take place over speakerphone, but when he asked Candace what had been said, she told him that Don had called to inform her that a creepy man had been spotting, watching, and trying to interact with and touch children around the property and nearby areas. Okay, moving on. Hunter also indicated that they all then made another stop at a local store where Candace picked up cigarettes and 1 can of twisted tea. When they arrived at the swimming hole to fish, they never ended up fishing. Summer jumped into the water to play. Grandma stayed back in the car for a bit to purchase more minutes on her pay-as-you-go phone. Meanwhile, Candace and Hunter are near the swimming hole. They're looking at TikTok, all this. Hunter asks Candace if he can have the alcoholic twisted tea, and she does give it to him. It's said by previous friends, and even Hunter himself, that Candace was known to give children alcohol, smokes, and possibly other substances. Now, a disclaimer, his story about where Summer was sitting and where the groceries were placed, I'm going to come back to that whole thing later with the milk jugs. You might have heard about it. If you haven't, you're going to now. They're going to vary quite a bit. Is it suspicious? I think everything is. However, again, when you're going about your daily routine, you aren't thinking about these crucial mental notes you should be taking because you don't know something crazy is going to happen, all right? As far as Hunter noticed, during the time that he was with Summer in the vehicle, she was still alert. He remembered her being awake. They were playing on his phone with TikTok, a little bit of music. However, when they dropped Hunter off, Candace was met by his mother, Allie, and Allie's mother, who were asking to say hello and to hug little Summer. Because the windows were rolled up and it was a hot day and Summer was allegedly sleeping at this point, Candace refused their request. So as far as Hunter noticed, Summer was awake and woo, woo, woo. And then Mom's like, nah, she's asleep. And I'm sure they could see that through the window, but neither here nor there. But anyway, this is the point where those well-known still photos and videos I had mentioned of Summer asleep in the backseat, cuddled up with the milk jugs, were taken. We're going to cover this part because it might be very crucial to the timeline and investigation. Oh, and y'all get this. I don't know what the dynamic was exactly, okay? They're family, friends, all this. But at some point, Candace had gone to her car and left her phone on a table. I don't know, because that's not in the timeline that he gives. But he was so suspicious of Candace that he went through her phone and found deleted text. And all he could get to was between her, 13 messages of her and her drug dealer. Okay. Anyhow, her and her drug dealer, and the last thing, or the only thing he was able to read was when the drug dealer said, "It's been done." What? I think this was the same day. It's been done. What the heck do you mean it's been done? But also, it could mean a billion things. It could mean 800 million innocent things. But as far as I can tell, this is when Summer is still alive in the car, etc. Candace is like, "Well, you do with my phone, do," and he hands it back. I didn't do nothing. Got my own phone. That's not verbatim, you guys. I'm just giving you the general sense of the story, okay? There's a very dedicated man on YouTube. I'm definitely going to link him down below. He interviews literally Dawn Wells, neighbors. He goes walking around areas and he's just talking about Summer and he is not letting her story die. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I did want to say, he interviewed Hunter's mother, her grandma, his grandma, and the great-grandma, and they all have some things to say about the Wells family. Nothing bad about Summer, no, no, no. But it's a long video, but it's interesting. I have to say, though, it's not something you can, use in court. It's hearsay, it's opinions, it's small-town drama, but it kind of gives you a better idea about, what people might have thought about the Wells, and I think they were even saying they think that they did it or know something to do with it for sure. They were adamant about that. So these are people that knew them. I don't know them. So not a credible source, the interviewees, but something to think about. So back to that notorious video that I mentioned when they're driving home from being with Hunter to getting back to their homestead. There is a grip of people that definitely believe that Summer was not alive in these photos. There is questions that between Hunter's timeline and Candace's, that maybe they made other stops and something either by accident or on purpose from them or otherwise had happened to her, and then she would have made this video as proof. She claims she took the videos of Summer. Oh, how cute, she's sleeping like her dad. I didn't see anything I don't know how her dad sleeps, but I didn't see anything obvious in the video that suggests like, oh my gosh, that's so cute, that's so different, like just so special, you know. But that's why she says she did it. And a lot of people thought, is she even still alive there? From what I can see and from what investigators saw, they didn't really think it was that suspicious. They checked the lip color in the video, zoomed in on the nails. Everything looked like she was still, yes, alive and just asleep. But as I mentioned down below, if you do want to deep dive on those videos, you can check out this dude. He is so cool, and he will take you through why those are suspicious, what isn't, and what is about it. Ugh, another thing. Hunter said, as far as he remembers, Candace said that the boys, her sons, were out with Dawn working. At least, I think 2 of them. But when she got home, all those boys were there, and she sent Summer in, and the boys, they were interviewed, I'm sure, by police and whatnot, and they were there. So why would you say they were out with their dad working if they were at home? Weird. And then I thought, well, shoot, that's possible. Maybe they did go with Dawn for a bit. I don't know how far he was from the house working that day, but maybe the boys did. And then maybe he brought him home, and by the time the mom and grandma and Summer come home, they were all 3 home. That's definitely possible. I will be linking in the description box and at the end of this video 1-800-TBI-FIND. If you have any credible resources, information, if you're out in the area, be on the lookout for baby girl Summer. Her pictures are popping up in here too. And please, don't send them your theories. Don't watch this video and then decide, oh, I'm team this or team that. No teams here. Just if you actually know something, say something. In life in general, if you see something, say something, okay? Please. This wraps up pretty much everything you're gonna find in these hours and hours and hours of different videos. Unfortunately, we don't have answers, but it is not a cold case. It is an open case, and I did watch an interview. I can't remember who it is, but it's like the main investigator on the case, and he starts his day every day following up tips for Summer. And I just appreciate anyone who works in this field, and especially the people working on this case to this day, that they haven't given up. And I don't want to give up either. I hope truly from the bottom, the depths of my soul, my spirit, that Summer is unharmed. She's out there somewhere. And if by some miracle Summer comes across this video at some point, I want you to know that little girls, little humans have survived really crazy stuff. Not unharmed. I don't know what the situation is, but keep the faith. We haven't forgotten about you. More and more people are finding out about you, and we are looking for you in any way that we can. And the police won't stop, and we won't stop. So hang in there, babe. Some of y'all have heard about Elizabeth Smart and all the things, and JC Dugard, like all these children that went missing for lengths of time and survived really crazy circumstances and were returned home to their loving parents. And I just want to hope and believe that that is the case with little Summer. And if not that, we want justice then. I want to know what happened for her sake and whoever is responsible to serve their freaking time. So, share this video. Share this video. Tell your friends. Show them Summer's picture. If you're out in that area especially, I mean, shoot, she could be anywhere by now. But yes, let's not let Summer just be another missing child, because she's not. None of them are. They're all important. I hope that we have an awesome update at some point, sooner the better, and I can post a part 2, welcoming Summer home or some great information. Until then, thank you so much for checking out my video. Please hit that ring bell. Subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be popping out these videos about once a week, and I want y'all here for it. I've got important things to share with you, and I love doing this, so if you could just do that for me, it helps me out and lets you know when I'm back on here. Last but not least, lock your doors, y'all. Please lock your doors and watch your babies. Watch your babies, watch your family, and take care. Until next time, Camille DeVille, out.